Chicago is the most populous city in the U.S. state of Illinois and the third most populous in the United States after New York City and Los Angeles. On the shore of Lake Michigan, Chicago was incorporated as a city in 1837 near a portage between the Great Lakes and the Mississippi River watershed. It grew rapidly in the mid-19th century. By 1860, Chicago was the youngest U.S. city to exceed a population of 100,000. The Great Chicago Fire in 1871 destroyed several square miles and left more than 100,000 homeless, but Chicago's population continued to grow to 503,000 by 1880 and then doubled to more than 1 million within the decade. The construction boom accelerated population growth throughout the following decades, and by 1900, less than 30 years after the fire, Chicago was the fifth largest city in the world. Chicago made noted contributions to urban planning and zoning standards, including new construction styles, such as Chicago school architecture, the development of the City Beautiful movement, and the steel-framed skyscraper. It is the site of the creation of the first standardized futures contracts, issued by the Chicago Board of Trade, which today is part of the largest and most diverse derivatives market in the world, generating 20% of all volume in commodities and financial futures alone. Chicago's 58 million tourist visitors in 2018 set a new record. Landmarks in the city include Millennium Park, Navy Pier, the Magnificent Mile, the Art Institute of Chicago, Museum Campus, the Willis, Sears, Tower, Grant Park, the Museum of Science and Industry, and Lincoln Park Zoo. Chicago is also home to the Barack Obama Presidential Center being built in Hyde Park on the city's south side. Chicago's culture includes the visual arts, literature, film, theater, comedy, especially improvisational comedy, food, dance, including modern dance and jazz troupes and the Joffrey Ballet, and music, particularly jazz, blues, soul, hip-hop, gospel, and electronic dance music, including house music. Chicago is also the location of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra and the Lyric Opera of Chicago. Of the area's colleges and universities, the University of Chicago, Northwestern University, and the University of Illinois at Chicago are classified as highest research doctoral universities. Chicago has professional sports teams in each of the major professional leagues, including 2 Major League Baseball teams. The name Chicago is derived from a French rendering of the indigenous Miami, Illinois word Chicago for a wild relative of the onion. It is known to botanists as Allium tricoccum and known more commonly as ramps. The first known reference to the site of the current city of Chicago as Chicagoo was by Robert de La Salle around 1679 in a memoir. Henri Joutel, in his journal of 1688, noted that the eponymous wild garlic grew abundantly in the area. The city has had several nicknames throughout its history, such as the Windy City, Chi-Town, Second City, and City of the Big Shoulders. Chicago's streets were laid out in a street grid that grew from the city's original townsite plot, which was bounded by Lake Michigan on the east, North Avenue on the north, Wood Street on the west, and 22nd Street on the south. Streets following the Public Lands Survey System section lines later became arterial streets in outlying sections. As new additions to the city were platted, city ordinance required them to be laid out with 8 streets to the mile in one direction and 16 in the other direction, about 1 street per 200 meters in one direction and 1 street per 100 meters in the other direction. The grid's regularity provided an efficient means of developing new real estate property. A scattering of diagonal streets, many of them originally Native American trails, also cross the city. Many additional diagonal streets were recommended in the plan of Chicago, but only the extension of Ogden Avenue was ever constructed. In 2016, Chicago was ranked the 6th most walkable large city in the United States. Many of the city's residential streets have a wide patch of grass or trees between the street and the sidewalk itself. This helps to keep pedestrians on the sidewalk further away from the street traffic. Chicago's Western Avenue is the longest continuous urban street in the world. Other notable streets include Michigan Avenue, State Street, Oak, Rush, Clark Street, and Belmont Avenue. The City Beautiful movement inspired Chicago's boulevards and parkways. Sporting News named Chicago the best sports city in the United States in 1993, 2006, and 2010. Along with Boston, Chicago is the only city to continuously host major professional sports since 1871, having only taken 1872 and 1873 off due to the Great Chicago Fire. Additionally, Chicago is one of the 8 cities in the United States to have won championships in the 4 major professional leagues and, along with Los Angeles, New York, Philadelphia, and Washington, is one of 5 cities to have won soccer championships as well.